Hey, if this is your first time here, welcome to Gleaning the Scriptures. My name is Tom Griffin, and my job is to help strengthen your relationship with God, giving you fortitude and the ability to walk righteously, even when the pressures abound. Today's lesson is going to be on the fourth Hebrew letter, the Dalet. Doesn't it look just like a doorway? Maybe not exactly. Maybe you have to squint a little bit and the sun has to be in just the right angle, but hey, that's the point, as you'll learn here soon. Let's learn together. The Dalet is the fourth letter of the Hebrew alphabet. It makes the phonetic D sound, and it is a lintel and a doorpost. Can you see the lintel and doorpost in the shape of the letter Dalet? A light from the darkness outside is shining in just the right way on the door, and the doorway is open at just the right angle, and then, as we who are in the darkness walk by, it appears. The Dalet, the doorway to God. Dalet, Lamed, Tet, spells both Dalet and Dalet, depending on the vowels. There are no vowels here, it's just the consonants. Vowels were added later. Dalet is the Hebrew word door. Further, a dal, which is just the Dalet and the Lamed, is a poor person. How are a doorway and a poor person related? Well, I'm poor, and I'm kind of like a doorway. But this isn't all about your friend Tom. If your mind is anchored on God, this connection becomes clear and not so tangential after all. One of the chiefest ways for God to humble a person in the life of the flesh is to make that person endure the hardships of being poor. While being poor is not the most pleasant of topics, the salubrity of being humble is most pleasant. Everyone knows that spending time with a humble person is much better than being around a proud, self-absorbed jerky jerk. Have you ever asked why God designed us to appreciate humility over pride? It's a deep and philosophical question. My friend, if you sense that we are coming to the point where we connect the humility of the doll or the humility of the poor person to a doorway, you are right on target. Here we go. Humility is the key that opens the doorway into God's house. Without humility, man cannot change his ways to make room for God's ways. Consider the artistry and simplicity of the Dalet. As fallible men, our bodies wrapped in slowly dying flesh and our souls tangled up in selfish and fleeting desires, we, in a manner of speaking, are in the dark. From this dark place, we see a doorway. The doorway gives us hope to take control of the nature of our life's direction. While humility and taking control seem quite distal, they work in perfect harmony, depending on what it is you want to take control of, that is. Humility gives us the opportunity for light to shine on us without our reacting brusquely. I'm going to repeat that if I can remember it. Humility gives us the opportunity for God's light to shine on us without us reacting brusquely, but in humility. Because we are fallible, sinful, and dying, when the light shines on us, our hackles come up. We react in brusque ways. Nobody likes their flaws being brought into the light. This is obvious. That, my friends, is what God's light does. It takes humility, for this reason, to approach God's light. Bob, A young college student is on the way to university. The sun is shining, the folks on the highway are driving in an orderly way, minding their manners, and his belly is full from a recent trip to Five Guys. Who doesn't like hamburgers? Bob's grades are good, and he is in his final semester. As Bob gazes out the window and sees a deer, he thinks about his girlfriend back at university. He's going to propose to her soon. The thought gets him excited. Just then, his car begins to make a funny noise. The engine hum stops, and Bob slowly rolls to a stop in disbelief on the side of the highway. Ruh-roh. He is miles from any acquaintance, and frankly, does not know enough about cars to have a clue what to do. Bob is scared. He is a poor college student, and the last thing he wants to do is burden his loving parents with a big car bill. He does not know what to do. He stops. Bob clears his mind and decides to pop the hood and just take a look. To Bob's relief, he notices that one of the wires connecting the battery to the engine has come loose. While he is no mechanic, he knows enough to recognize that the loose cable is likely the trouble. So what does Bob do? Well, he reconnects the terminal, and away Bob goes, zooming down the highway, feeling like a champion. Way to go, Bob. The problem in our story, my friend, was that the battery cable was loose. The reason Bob was scared at first was because the problem was a mystery. You see, once the problem is brought to light with mechanics, it always brings a sense of relief, even if the fix is more involved. Why? Because the unknown is scary. In contrast to this relief phenomenon that happens when a problem is brought to light, making the solution tenable, we have human nature, a most odd and mysterious thing. We have screws loose, missing wires, terminals connected in places that shouldn't be, and parts that don't even belong, just floating around in our souls and bodies. We surround ourselves with others who share those same intricate problems, and the enemy, he cleverly deceives us into believing that there is nothing we can do about it. Our emotions and pride are all wrapped up in keeping others from helping us heal and progress. When our problems are brought to the light, we should rejoice, brothers and sisters, because now a path forward can materialize. Instead, though, we fight and scream and murder. We lie. We cheat. We steal. Why? Pride, my friend. Our pride makes us react in these ugly ways. We walk up to the door, the Dalet, and find that our problems are revealed by the light inside. And we decide we don't like that door so much anymore. Yeshua, my friends, is the door. Only through him can you enter the light of life. Our Messiah will manumit you from the greatness that is darkness. Much like when a car's issue is brought to light, it is a happy thing, we ought also to be happy if we intend for the vehicle that is our body to be fixed for Messiah's use when our issues are brought to light. He is the way. He is the truth. He is the life. If you choose to allow God's Spirit and those in fellowship with him to help you, you have chosen to accept Yeshua, and you will be on the way. You will start and continue down a road of life that leads away from sin and death. Choose to approach the door, to be humble, to open the door, and to enter into the light through it. To wrap up, we will touch on a very large door. The Sea of Reeds, or more well known as the Red Sea. The children of Israel received mercy for building Egypt. By the power of Yeshua's blood, the angel of death did not enter their homes, even though they deserved it. Just like the darkness that was Egypt ensured that our ancient ancestors had no choice but to wallow in their misfortune and broken state, we too are set in Babylon and Egypt, a very dark place. To bring God's people from that wretched hellhole, Yeshua had to destroy Egypt completely, loosening the Egyptian potentate's torrid grip on the nation of Israel. This destruction of Egypt culminated in the final and 10th plague, the death of the firstborn. While all in Egypt deserved their firstborn to die, the blood, Yeshua's blood, was placed on the doorposts of their homes, of the Israelite homes, in order that the death angel would pass over that house mercifully, allowing the Israelites to escape quickly before Pharaoh changed his mind yet again. You remember the story. The blood of God, the sea of reeds, the plagues, all of it is a picture of the doorway. It symbolizes the darkness on the outside of the doorway, which is Egypt, and the light that is the inside of the doorway, the promised land. That story shows that there is much progression needed while entering that glorious promised land. Much progression between Egypt and promised land. Years and years of growing before we are made capable of being in the promised land, not just on the way to it. Friends, as an encouragement while you walk that brightly lit road, note well that the blood of the Lamb was not placed on the home's walls, furniture, fireplace, and the dog. It was on the doorposts and the lintel only, surrounding the door. In this same way, my friends, Yeshua's blood, his mercy, does not have to be applied on the entirety of your life. The majority of who you are is good. And only a few places need a sprinkling of that glorious blood of God to help you stand before the Almighty, the Father. Remember that, my friends, next time a flaw in you is being burned up through the crucible that is life's trial, while you are walking towards the door. The less mercy God has to exercise on you, the better. Approach the door with the humility of the doll or the poor person. We are indeed poor. Just like a poor man would be wise to approach the generous rich man in complete submission, our poor and detestable spiritual selves ought approach the Almighty God with readiness to be changed, and we will find an abundance of life on the other side. Riches that far surpass silver and gold. My friend, I pray that the Father bless you today. I thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to hit that like button. Those things help the channel reach more and more people. Don't you want more people to be encouraged by this message? Hit that like button and enjoy it, my friend. And thank you for growing with us today. My soul clings to the dust. Revive me according to your word. I have declared my ways, and you answered me. Teach me your statutes. Make me understand the way of your precepts. So shall I meditate on your wonderful works. My soul melts from heaviness. Strengthen me according to your word. Remove from me the way of lying, and grant me your law graciously. I have chosen the way of truth. Your judgments I have laid before me. I cling to your testimonies. O Adonai, do not put me to shame. I will run the course of your commandments, for you shall enlarge my heart.